Hello, it's Carrie Bradford, and today I am going to show you how to make your own print and cuts using images and cut files that you already have. To start off with, I'm going to open up a ledger paper that came with the Love Every Little Thing kit. It's actually called this paper budget. That's the one I want to use. I'm going to go ahead and open it up by double clicking on it. And as you can see here, it is like way huge. So I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to come over here, and this is the scale window. I'm going to click on that, and it now shows me, as you can see, it's like 33 inches wide, which is just a little bit too big for what we want. And to change that, I'm going to click on Lock Aspect Ratio. What this does is it keeps the size in proportion so that if you change the width, that automatically changes the height to the proportion of your change. So what I'm going to do here is go ahead and highlight the figure in the width, and I want to change it to 5.25 inches wide. And if you look here on the height, it automatically changed it to the same proportion. Now I just click apply, and you can see it made it small and kind of moved down here. So we're just going to move this little baby right on back up to our window. So we'll get that back up there. And now what we need to do is we need to add crop marks. Now what the crop marks do is it shows silhouette, it shows the machine where exactly everything has been placed within the window. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here. You see there's the little crop marks right up here. I'm going to click on that, and now I get the registration marks window. What you need to do now is click on the show registration marks, and as you can see right here, we have this grayed out area there and a grayed out area there, along with a black corner line there, and on this side and down in this corner as well. What this is this is the area that the silhouette looks at to be able to understand where everything has been laid out on your page. You do not want to put anything into this gray area. You don't want to put anything printable in there so that it'll miss cutting it in some fashion. So we're just going to kind of slide this over, and you can see it just kind of fits in within that little gray area. Now if we look at our window, you can see there's like all this extra white space that, when you run it through your printer, it's going to come out clear down here, which is fine, but to me it's a little wasteful. Well, we can change our margins so that, it brings it up into this area so that you won't have this little printed block, these printed lines right here in some random spot. So if you come over here to the registration mark window, you can see we've got the right here and a little slide tool. If I click on that and slide it along, and you look at what it does within the window. You see it just kind of automatically moves that little crop mark so it's farther up on the page, and then that gives us all that extra space there so that it doesn't, we've got more, we make the most of our cardstock. That's what it's all about. You got to make the most of your cardstock. Okay, so now we have our image up and where we want it. We have our crop marks. What we want to do is we're going to make tags using this image. So I'm going to come over here to my little library and click on the little library window. I am going to go to my own designs because that's just where I know that it is. And then I'm going to use this tag office image. So I'm just going to double click on that, and it brings it right on into our working area. I'm just going to kind of slide it over just so we can kind of see it a little bit better. I know that this tag is too big. It's obviously too big. So I want to resize it. So I'm going to come up here to our scale tool, and I'm going to click on the tag, and I want it to have a height of 3.85 inches. Oh, and I need to do the lock aspect ratio and click apply, and now you can see it's more workable. But what we don't want right here is this little reinforcement. we want to be able to cut that out on a different colored cardstock. So I'm going to right click and click ungroup, and then I can just take that little reinforcement and just slide it off the cutting area. And so now all that I am left with is just my tag. So now I'm just going to click on my tag and slide it over and kind of place it about where I want to on my ledger paper. And this has allowed me enough room to actually use a second tag. So I'm going to click on the tag. There we go. And press Control C or Command C if you're on a Mac, and then Control F or Command F if you're on a Mac. And you can see, if you notice, this red line just kind of got a little bit darker. That's because Command or Control F actually takes a copy of the image and puts it right over the image that you have. This is great when you're doing the double cutting. That's what I like to do, is just copy it, a couple of times. So we're just going to use the Shift and the arrow key just to kind of move it over and put it wherever we want to. And now you can see I have my two tags on the printed image that I'm going to use for my print and cut. At this point, we can go ahead and print it, and you're not going to have to worry about any of those little red lines. It doesn't print those. So we're going to send it through our printer, and now it looks like this. You can see how there are the crop marks at the top of the page, and then the one single crop mark at the bottom. The two crop marks at the top are the ones that we want to put through the silhouette first. That's where the silhouette will actually, the little eye in the mechanism there reads those little lines and determines where everything is laid out within that space. So it will know that that's where we want to cut our tags. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and cut it. And now you can see this is how it turns out. We've got the two little tags. I cut it exactly where we wanted. There were no red lines on my printed image, nothing. It's perfect. And we're ready to go ahead and start with our tag ensemble that we're going to make. So if you know me, if you've been following me around for a while, you know that I like to lay out my things in Illustrator. A lot of people don't have the luxury of using Illustrator, but that doesn't mean that you can't do what I do. I'm going to show you a nifty little trick on how to make sure that your things are sized proportionately, and so that you can kind of just lay out what you've got going on your screen and know exactly the sizes that you need. You can see I have, the window here where the tags were that we were using. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new window. I'm going to go to File and do New. And then I'm going to come back to this window and I'm going to click on a tag. Sometimes they're hard to get. Hello. Let's see here. Okay, let's see if we can grab our tag. There we go. Okay. I'm going to press Command C or Control C if you're on a PC. And I'm going to come back over here to our open window, and I'm going to push Command V or Control C if you're on a PC. And I've got my tag. This particular tag ensemble that we're doing uses the tree branch from the Lucky Kit. So I have it in my library, so I'm going to come over here to Show Library. And it's in My Own Designs. If you wanted to search for it, you could come up here and put in branch, and you would be able to find the branch that you're looking for. It brings up all the branches that I have within my library. So I'm just going to double click on that, and you can see it brings it up into my window. From here, I want to be able to rotate it, so I click on the rotate tool, or sometimes it already comes up, if you're sizing it or whatever, it has that little green dot there and the size dimensions there. So I'm just going to press my Shift key and click on the green dot and turn my image. By pressing on the Shift key, that kind of keeps it locked into certain increments of rotation along the way. So I wanted it rotated 90 degrees, so it just automatically locked it into 90 degrees when it hit it, which is really kind of nice. So at this point, we're going to come over here and you can see it's really just too big for the tag. And so I'm just going to click on the little handle down here and just resize it to, oh, let's see. Let's try right about there. And I'm just going to bring it down. That looks good to me. I kind of like, you know, it being a little bit off there. Next, I need the skeleton key. So again, that skeleton key is from the This and That Lucky Kit. You can get all the shapes from either the complete Lucky Kit or you can buy just the shapes, but you won't be able to use the ticket that I end up using later on. But you know, you can always use whatever you want or just disregard it or whatever. So I'm going to click on the Show Library, and I'm just going to type in key in my search window. And you can see here's the skeleton keys from the Lucky Kit. So I'm just going to double click on that. And again, key, really big, 2 keys. So let's ungroup, right click, select ungroup, and we want to get rid of that one. So I just click and drag and it makes a little box around that. I can press delete. And let's group this one back up together. So I click and drag over the entire image, and then I can right click and select group. You can also press Command or Control G. That will group it together as well. Now let's bring that over here, and like I say, that's just a bit too big. So let's kind of bring it down and maybe make it about, let's see, 2 inches high. If you look at the numbers there, right here, you can see just how big that's getting. I'm going to make it about 2 inches high, and that's just about right where I wanted it. It's got room for the ticket that I'm going to put in there and the little word montage. So of course you don't want to cut them all out on top of each other, and you also don't want to cut them out of the same color. And we aren't going to end up cutting our tag anyway, so we can just delete our tag. But we do want to go get our reinforcement. So I'm going to click back over to where we were working. Here's our reinforcement. Just click on that. Press Command or Control C. I'm going to come back here to the working window that we had and press Command or Control V, and there is our little reinforcement. So now all we have to do is just choose the colors that we want, and say we're going to start with a branch first. We're just going to move those off the cutting area. Again, I like to double cut my images, so I press Command or Control C and then Command and Control F, and you can see kind of how that got darker red. And now I am ready to cut, and I will do the same for the other 2 images in the colors that they are needed, and then I'm ready to put my tag together. So that about sums up how you can do your print and cut and how you kind of lay out a little bit of your an image that you're working with, and I hope that helps you the next time you're ready to create a project. Thanks for stopping by.